Hey, recording the Q&A. We got an easy one for us today. It's just the one here. Just some general feedback. You said, Sue, my color's out of the way. Looking at your figure, your musculature is better. You've improved that. Well done. Well done. I would still say you could work the hands a little more. Yeah, let's do the one here with the hair. I'd say go find a reference for this. Even take a picture of yourself. Because the fingers are not quite following how fingers work. For instance, your pinky here is quite large compared to the other ones. Remember that the pinky should end, like if you have a hand, right? Draw a hand, middle finger, hit. But the hand tends to have this kind of shape like this to it. And your pinky tends to be like, if we then like the ends here, you have like these three sections to each finger, as I'm sure you're keenly aware. Your pinky should be right around the middle of your ring finger, right? And you see here it's near the end, so it should be more about there, right? So your hand is just missing a little bit of, you want to add a little more, what do I call it? Just mind your proportions a little bit, right? Because your pinky looks gigantic. And also from this angle, be mindful that the knuckles would be quite prominent. Right? You'd see knuckles a little bit. Kind of like that. Or you can, if you want to turn it down for style reasons, you can also just keep it straight, right? You don't have to draw on the knuckles. There's no reason you have to. The main thing to be mindful of is just the finger length and thicknesses. Otherwise, everything's in pretty much the right place. Be mindful the fold would be more like this on the arm, because I see it kind of comes down here. But like if you think about the bones here, right? There's the bone underneath, right? This is where the forearm is, and the meat goes around the bone. So you'd have it more. Your fold of meat would be like this, because the hand is pressing into the forearm meat, which caused the fold here. Make sense? Again, small piece. You're mostly looking pretty solid. Pretty solid, pretty solid. You could probably emphasize the trap a little more right there, right? Because I see you're kind of doing this, right? It's just kind of doing that. Be mindful, there's a muscle in here, right? So you probably have something more like this, so it's more like a neck, trap, shoulder, rather than just shoulder into the trap. Remember that your clavicle kind of meets where the trap meets the shoulder. This side's pretty good. That kind of has the feel there. I see like there's the separation, so that's solid. Looking down, looking down, looking down. Where's his belly button? Nah, it's fine. Good, 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 good. Oh, basically looking fine. You could actually think it right here. You could think about that like that general curve I was talking about. If you want to get kind of anime, where you do that, right? See that gentle S? That's ever, ever, ever so anime. When you're doing, it looks like your character's kind of got a slight worm's eye, the ever so slight, so looking down. What you can do with these chins here is some people will just do the line like that. Sometimes what you can do though is you can make this kind of shape like this, and then it gives that slight illusion of being under the character a little bit. You just have this ever so slight shape underneath the chin here. That's what I like to do personally. But there's no actual hard style. Or some people will just do a hard chin. That's up to you. I'm just giving you an option if you want. I find it sells the angle better, but again, up to you. Otherwise, your dude's looking pretty solid. As far as your fella here, I don't know what's going on here. It feels like it's missing some of the arms. So is it supposed to be like back in here in perspective, like we don't see the arm? Is that what's happening? Yeah, okay, then it's fine. I'd be a little... Okay, so the thing about the gun here is you can leave it open in space if you want, or you can use it to create some depth. It feels a little tight right here. Feels kind of in the... It's not technically a tangent, but it feels kind of tangenty, so I might move this out a little bit. Because then it kind of... Like, you can use the gun... Remember, like, that framing thing I was talking about, where, like, your character has this overall shape, and then this all closes in the kick? So use your gun to create that sort of... that little pocket to hold your kick in, and it creates that visual, well, framing is the word, of the kick. So I'd move this up. When it's straight down, it kind of starts to like compete with the kick for this visual area. So I don't know how you want to do the gun here. You can just do like a slight arm, right? And then maybe like a little bit of the forearm, and then the gun's being held. And you can put the gun in perspective too if you want. Right? Or you can just have it pointing out, whatever. Otherwise, your figure's looking pretty solid. This fella, oh shoot, this fella. I remember you said the torso was attached, so don't worry about it. You can leave the knee like this. An option for you is you can put a foot back here. Still some of the depth, but otherwise, you're looking pretty solid. I mean, no real hard feedback other than watch your hand and your forearm meet, your trap. And I would say definitely open this up for the framing. And then this, and this, and this. These are all just suggestions at that point. Any questions for any of them? Otherwise, that is the Q&A. A fat, crazy 7 minutes. Trap. Did I say something? Uh-oh. Uh-oh, I'm going to get canceled. I don't think I said anything. Oh dear. Oh no. Dragon X62 is typing. They are typing. They are typing. Well, I mean, that's okay. I mean, part of the things that, well, I think why tracing is so effective is it teaches your hand how the line should feel for what you're trying to make. So I think in time it will start to make more sense as you just, you get that muscle memory is what you're looking for, right? It's a very, let's call it, underemphasized part of learning art. I see this especially when I was learning art. The muscle memory part is really, really not emphasized. A lot of, not to denounce other art teachers, like I know what I'm talking about, but just from my own perspective and experience and having learned how to draw to a higher degree, is there's a lot of emphasis on fundamentals and technicals and like, oh, you got to worry about your framing and watch out for this muscle, but there's not a lot of emphasis on making sure your lines come out the way you want them to. And that just comes from volume. Lots and lots of volume, because you can't read a book on how to make your lines come out right. You just can't. You just have to draw the line 10,000 times and your brain goes, I know how to do this now. And so then you're just building that connection between your hand and your brain, that neural pathway, I assume is what it is. I'm not a neurologist. So it's just a matter of volume until you just kind of get a sense of, in the same way, like when you hear someone speak your native language and they say a word slightly wrong, you're like, that wasn't right. You just kind of intuitively know, like, no, that's not how you pronounce that word. Right? If I were saying word is weird, you'd be like, that's not how we say that in North American English, right? You just kind of go, no, wrong. Your brain just goes, wrong. And you'll have that same sense with your lines where you'll draw the line and you'll go, no, that's not right. I have to tweak that. And then you can tweak it because you'll have the ability within your hand to make the line, right? In the same way, if you'd mispronounced a word, you're like, no, wait, that's not how I say that. And so you got to work on that intuitive muscle memory. And that just comes from volume. So just don't worry about it if if you're not really sure. A sign is that you're improving is you can tell something isn't quite right. That's a sign. If you can go, that wasn't quite right. And maybe you can't fix it, but just the fact you can identify that wasn't quite right is a sign of progress. Does that help? Make sense? Okay, perfect. Well, I think we just got the one today, so I'll leave you guys for the week. And next week, I will get into cartooning bodies. And for those of you that want to talk about business, I'll see you in an hour and a half. Okay, you guys enjoy your break. Good luck, Godspeed. I love you all romantically. Go eat some lunch. Bye.